call Mr. Michael Copeland. Mr. Copeland.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and I too thank the members responsible for bringing this motion this morning. In assessing these matters, you can look at numbers till you're blue in the face. You can look at statistics until you're blue in the face. Or you can sit in front of a coal fire or a radiator or a central heating system that you can't afford to run until you're blue in the face. The motion begins that this Assembly recognises the serious problem of fuel poverty. And I ask myself, do we recognise it? Or is it something we can raise and take along a particular route? Because the way in which we recognise it appears even to be confused. In that, in the rest of the United Kingdom, you appear to be in fuel poverty if you burn or spend more than 10% of your income. A statistic which, if applied to Northern Ireland, would not give 13%, but give somewhere in the region of 44%. Now, if you take 44%, it comes out at 302,000, not people, as Mr. Agnew said, but households. 302,000 households could be 500,000 people. Time after time, I stand here and listen on occasions to people talking about housing lists, the waiting list, that there are 38 or 39,000 people. It's not 38 or 39,000 people, it's 38 or 39,000 applications. And it's not applications that send us here. It's not applications who mandate us. It's not applications who have need, it's people. And until we start to see the tears that lie behind some of these statistics, in Northern Ireland, many of our houses are of poor quality. Many of them are not properly insulated. We have a boiler scheme, which I think is only at 200 applications, and I would, at some stage in the future, be grateful if the Minister could give me an update on the progression of the pilot boiler replacement scheme. I would be speaking in full support of this motion and indeed the amendment as brought forward by both parties. To truly get an answer here, we're going to have to perform a balancing act. A balancing act that allows people to be warm for the next 24 or 48 hours, at the same time finding money to invest or engineer out the difficulties that are actually feeding the system and feeding this problem. And it does not solely apply to people being cold in their own homes. It has ramifications, as has been said, in education, it has ramifications in the health service, and it has ramifications in a whole range of other issues. And is it honest of us to say that we here can do nothing? We can go to Westminster, and the Minister will have the full support of any right-thinking person in this room in dealing with Westminster. But Westminster is liable to say no, despite the fact that the rise in fuel duty, the rise in gas prices, the rise in electricity prices have all accumulated rise in value-added tax, which is actually taxing this distress and taxing the people who suffer. In Northern Ireland, it is very expensive to be poor. If you use a power card to put electricity into your home, you will pay more, even though you're paying for it before you get it, as opposed to people like me and I presume many others who pay for it after they get it. No matter what we say in this room, unless we are prepared to take money from one budget and put it into another to address this, we are dependent on the good nature of a fiscally strapped government in the United Kingdom. And I do thank the member for only mentioning the coalition government twice. I somewhat suspect that no matter what the mix of political representation in Westminster had it been after the last election, that the results of this would have been, unfortunately, pretty much the same. I support the motion. I support the amendment.